Hey, you guys. Yay. Welcome. I know there are so many more advancements, but these are the ones that we had submitted, so I wanted to make sure that we included you guys. Ashley and Sam, congratulations. I know it's official. As of today, I just saw your video on your wall. Can't wait to go watch it. Allie, I saw yours. I didn't see everybody else. There's a lot of announcements going on, so much recognition. Jody, you rocked your week at leading the leaderboard, which I'm so proud of you of. You guys have just done an incredible job. It has been so busy, hasn't it, with the launch and the end of the year and the start of a new year. But I know there are so many of you guys working so hard, but these are the ones that were submitted for our DU Love Fest, so I wanted to pop them on here. Super excited to rally up all the other advancements and kind of move forward with this. You guys, we are talking tonight about social media, and I cannot wait to dive in. I'm going to give us about 1 more minute for people to hop on. So message your success partners. If you notice your team is not in the text or in the chat box yet, go grab them. I want them to be here. This is our first team training for 2018. I want to celebrate you guys. You guys, how many of you are on the leaderboard? So let me see in the comments, how many of you guys are part of the 1,000 Club, 500 Club, or 300 Club? Just as a refresher, you guys, this is just amazing. Like, these are the coaches who are absolutely connecting to their business, absolutely connecting to customers, using product themselves. And when you see this leaderboard, it just represents volume. And so it just means we are using their product and we are helping other people connect with a product that works and is right for them. The goal, your first goal, is to reach 500 volume in a month. And then from there, you get to build onto it, and you get to maybe set a goal for 500 a week, or maybe it's 300 a week for you. Either way, all of you guys on this leaderboard are far exceeding the 500 PV per month, and I'm so super proud of you. If you are brand new, put that on your goal board, put that on your vision board, have a conversation with your sponsor to sort of brainstorm how you're going to get there, what behaviors you need to focus on. But I want to celebrate you guys because this is a really big deal. It means you're helping people reach their goals with just the best possible products. I know, so many announcements. It's so exciting. So awesome. So awesome. So awesome. Huge congratulations to everybody. Okay, we are going to switch gears here, and we're going to go right into our training because it's time. We've got about 140 of us on live, which I'm so proud of. Those of you who are, let me turn this off so you can see my face. Those of you who are in our brand new Dynasty United Gather group, I'm so proud of you for being there. That is a group for business builders. So you guys, if you're in there, welcome. If you're not in there, you can be a part of it. It's just for people who are focused on business building. So if you are on this team training, you are probably that person. So feel free to join us in there. We're talking about trackers. We're talking about tough love sometimes. We're talking about sponsorship and leadership and duplication. All good things, personal development, all good things. Awesome. Okay, so I am going to kick us off here. Let me grab my notes and let me grab my presentation. First, I want to screen share something for you guys to screenshot. So let me do that really fast before I forget. Okay, hang tight. It's all about social media. Social media. Here we go. Okay, let me have you screenshot this. I'm going to reference it again in just a minute, but these are some of my favorite smartphone tools. So go ahead and screenshot that if you are new to social media or if you are not already using some of these apps. You'll have to check on Android or other phones, but I know for sure these are available on iPhone. And I'm going to go into some more detail on this in just a little bit, but I want you to screenshot this so that you have it, so that you can do your own research and sort of go from there. But I want to make sure that you get this because this got left out of my actual presentation. Okay, everybody got it? Everybody good? Awesome. Okay. All right, next up is the actual presentation. All right, guys. So tonight we're talking about social media. I titled this The Building Blocks of Social Media because honestly, we are always growing in social media. Nobody has ever got it all figured out, and that's the best part. Nobody is ever 100% on top of social media because it's always changing. There's always something new that we can learn. I'm always learning. Funny thing, if you probably have heard some of our team trainings a couple years back, or probably even last year, you probably would have heard me say that I'm not really that into Instagram. You probably would have heard me say that multiple times. But now, if you are following me anywhere, you see that I'm mostly on Instagram. So remember that things often change. It is fluid. You have to stay flexible. And in this business as an entrepreneur, this is online. And so whether you like it or not, there is that level of learning social media and sort of diving in and being willing to try new things. So be flexible. That's my first advice to you. But to me, these are the building blocks. So if you're a newer coach or if you're intimidated by social media, these are going to be secrets to success that anybody can implement. The thing is too, even if you're not a new coach, even if you're maybe consider yourself a veteran coach or even a very successful coach, sometimes we get out of the practice of healthy habits when it comes to social media. So my hope is that this will refresh your memory. This will kind of give you some good ideas and some good nuggets. So before I dive into the slides, I'm going to just kind of share a little piece of my heart when it comes to social media, and kind of give you guys a little bit of background before I dive into just do this, do that. Okay, so in social media, the more that you share, the more connective tissue that you are going to create with the people that you're talking to. So, sorry, I don't know why my webcam's off. Okay. So what does that mean? Connective tissue. That just means that in this business, you have to connect with others. You cannot just be a social media figure and expect to build relationships. There has got to be that connection. There's got to be a relationship. So the more that you share on social media, the more connective tissue you are going to create, you are going to build with those that are following you. You spread out all these call to actions that you're posting. You know, a call to action post is something like join my challenge group or email me if you want some information on ADD obsession. Those are all very, very, very important. But remember to spread those things out and build relationships. What do I mean by that? I want to caution new coaches to be very aware of their presence on social media. Do not overanalyze and do not overthink it, but just remember, you are not a robot. You are not a coach robot. It is so important that people feel the humanity in your social media, that people get to know you. And I'm going to expand on all of this, so don't worry, but just listen to me, just sort of hear where I'm coming from and evaluate your social media as I'm talking through all of this. You've got to spread out your call to action posts, meaning every post that you make cannot be sign up here, join this, think about buying this. These are my results for that. Those are not bad in themselves, but you've got to develop those relationships. You've got to develop that connection with people. And the only way to do that is to share more of yourself. So when we're talking about social media, there's going to be different seasons of your business where you are focused on different things. For instance, you've got to first determine your goal. If you've got a very specific goal, like maybe for instance, for me, and I know Allie and I have been talking about this from being in the test group, so I know this is her too. For us right now, there's a very heavy focus on helping challengers get plugged into ADD obsession. So you may see my Instagram or my Facebook or wherever I'm sharing, it might be more heavily focused on the results of a program, inviting to a challenge group, talking about a challenge group. But maybe in a couple months or a couple weeks, my goal might be changing. My goal might be very focused in on leadership development or sponsoring new business building coaches. So the content that I deliver on my social media is going to vary a little bit depending on your personal goal. So that's okay. So you've got to first determine your goal. What is your first goal? And I'm sure you have multiple goals, right? You've probably got multiple goals, but what is your first goal? So once you've identified that first goal, then you can start to sort of hand pick and hand plan your content. So I hope that's making sense. It's not a one size fit all. It is going to be, it's going to vary. It's going to be switched up a little bit depending on your goal. And that goal is going to dictate the kind of content that you deliver on social media. In this world, you are either growing or you are dying. You are either growing or you are dying. And so you've got to get in motion every single day and grow, especially as an entrepreneur in an online business that is health and fitness, right? So don't let that intimidate you. Let that inspire you. Let that give you breath and fresh energy, because you growing is always a good thing, not just for your business, for your family, for your mental state, for your friendships. Growth is a really good thing. And so remember, you are either growing or you are dying. So you've got to choose. Which one are you going to be doing in this world? So you have to get in motion every single day. What do I mean by that? Getting in motion every single day. That means get things going. For us in the coaching world, that is the 4 vital behaviors. The 4 vital behaviors are what create motion in your business, and motion creates content. So let me be very clear. I have never had more successful months in my business than when I commit to a program all out and I have results. Most recently, it's my 80-day obsession, but this is not the only time, right? So I've done it before with P90X, my first transformation. Another time that really stood out was when I did, and I was not a part of any test group, okay? So don't allow that to be an excuse. I wasn't a part of any test group. P90X was first, and then it was 21 Day Fix when that launched. I was just like all of you getting ready to start 80-day obsession. I started on when it was available, and that was my personal test group. I had results, and then I did it again, and then I did it again, and then when 80-day obsession, then when 21 Day Fix Extreme launched, I did that, and then I did that again, and I did the hardest meal plan with competition with countdown to competition. So and that is a vital behavior, right? Being proof the products work. So when you connect with the vital behaviors and you go all out with your commitment, I promise you, it's going to create motion in your business, and that motion is going to create content. I heard so many of you guys saying, I don't know what to post anymore, or I feel like my life is boring. I can totally relate to that before baby and even now after baby, but definitely before baby. So I totally relate to that. But I can promise you, you feel bored, or you feel like other people feel bored because you are not in motion. That is the problem. So you get in motion by being proof the products work, and I mean commit, right? You get in motion by diving into personal development and allowing that growth process to happen. And I guarantee you will be set in motion, and that motion will create content. Okay, so that's just an overarching theme here. I'm going to elaborate on all of this, but I want you to be thinking of yourself. I want you to have some personal self-reflection going on right now. What does my social media look like? How am I attacking these 4 vital behaviors? Am I truly treating this business like a business? If my coaches did what I do every single day, would they have raging, thriving, successful businesses, or would they be mediocre and, kind of mundane, right? So that's the honest truth that you've got to give yourself. So, okay, moving on. Sorry, I can go on for that for a long time. So there are going to be days, those of you who said, sometimes I feel bored, sometimes I feel like I don't have enough to share. There are going to be days where you are just on fire when it comes to creativity, when it comes to the way that you word things, when it comes to, even the way you look in pictures, if that's important to you, whatever. There's going to be days where you're so super inspired and the ideas just keep flowing. And so you've got plenty to post about, right? And then there are going to be other days where you have absolutely nothing. You feel sort of numb to the social media world. Every picture you take, your eye looks lazy, or your face feels funny, or you're exhausted, so you've got a foggy brain, or the house is just a mess and so you can't focus, or the family really needs you. Whatever. There's going to be those days. That is just inevitable, and that is life, right? So we're all going to have those days where everything is going peachy, and there's going to also be those days where you just do not feel inspired. You don't know what to say or how to say it. Every time you try to say something, it's like autocorrect, like changes every word, and every post has a typo. Trust me, I've been there more times than I could count. But you're not sure like what direction that you want to go in. That is all going to happen, and you just got to accept it. As long as that's not every single day, you're in the norm. It's normal. It's fine. You just keep going with it. You flow with it. And as a business owner on social media, you learn when you do have those days where you're feeling inspired and things are coming to you and your personal development is really clicking with you. You learn to develop multiple streams of content for later use, right? You take multiple pictures because you feel confident, you feel happy, you've got the time set out, you've blow dried your hair or whatever. And so you create a folder on your phone or on your computer and you take multiple pictures. You change your shirt out, you put your hair in a ponytail, whatever. You take advantage of that day for later, and that's it's not about being fake, it's about being smart. And it's about using your time wisely. And so you'll learn that, and it just comes with time, right? So but the thing is, if you do not do the vital behaviors, your business is going to tank. I hope you heard me. If you're not doing the vital behaviors, your business is going to tank. You're going to feel frustrated. You're going to feel disconnected. You're going to feel ineffective, and you're going to feel kind of down, right? So don't do that to yourself. There's a reason. It's not just a suggestion. It's critical. I tell my coaches before I hop on the phone with them, if they're feeling down about their business, or they're feeling defeated or whatever, I have a video on YouTube that talks about the 5 daily critical behaviors. And if they're not doing those, I'm not going to get on the phone with them, because that's why, right? I'm not a therapist. I can't fix everybody's emotional problems. But what I can tell you is that This business has a structure for a reason, and the people who are committed to the vital behaviors, they are seeing positive things happening in their business. So I don't know where you're at in your business. I hope you're on cloud nine. I really do. I hope it all is going really well. You're so super inspired, but I would be silly to not acknowledge that maybe you're sitting here tonight and you're like, okay, I'm going to show up to this team call. I'm going to do my thing, right? But I didn't have a great year and it's messing with my head. Like my year kind of stunk, or I didn't end my year the way I wanted to. I missed a big goal or whatever. Okay, so that's going to happen. But if you do not do the vital behaviors, your business is going to tank. It's gonna. So just sort of figure out how to brush it off in the best way possible and move forward, okay? If you are struggling in your business, show your sponsor a week's worth of your 4 vital behaviors and then see what kind of game plan you guys can come up with, okay? So whether you're on cloud 9, if you're on cloud 9, make a mental note of that. Okay, when I'm feeling like I'm in a little bit of a valley or feeling frustrated or feeling defeated or feeling uninspired, ask myself, am I doing these 4 vital behaviors? And then on the flip side, if you're someone who's working through feeling defeated or feeling frustrated, again, ask yourself, are you doing the 4 vital behaviors? And if you're not, give yourself a week, do those 4 vital behaviors, track your behaviors, make note, take notes, and then set up a call or a Zoom with your sponsor and go over a week's worth of 4 vital behaviors, and then they can help you figure out areas that you can improve, okay? Business owner status. Here we go. You are so important. I want you to know that first. You are so important. There's 160 people live on this call. There'll probably be another 150 who listen to the replay. You are so important. I'm not going to be super fluffy on this call, but you need to know that you are needed, not just with the team, not just Team Beachbody, but like the people in your life, the people that you have the opportunity to reach. You're needed. We need you. We need your voice. We need your experience. We need your quirkiness. We need your weirdness. We need your sharp tongue, maybe, whatever. Maybe you feel awkward because you sometimes say the wrong joke at the wrong time. We still need you, right? I have a lot of friends like that and I love them. We need your voice in order to reach more people. There is someone out there who connects best with you, the person who's wearing your shirt, the person who uses your shampoo, you, right? There's someone out there who will not connect with another person. So while all other coaches on social media like are sharing about 21 Day Fix or talking about 80 Day Obsession, and you maybe think to yourself, okay, well, everybody's already talking about this. Like, why should I be talking about it? Because everybody else is doing it. The reason why is because the person in your network is going to connect with you, your experience, your voice, your doubts, your struggles, your triumphs even. That's why you're needed, because there's a specific person, and I 150% believe this, there's a specific person on this earth who will only connect with you. And so if you do not share it, they will not have the opportunity for an incredible life change. So the results are going to come. This is the thing with this business. And honestly, this can be the hard part in this business, but this is where the character growth happens. A lot of us are about to embark on 80 Day Obsession. You might already be thinking, oh my gosh, 80 days. I haven't done an 80-day program maybe ever. I started with P90X, so it's a 90-day program. And it was the best program that I did, especially to kickstart my business. So you might be feeling a little intimidated by 80 days. Here's what I want to tell you. The longer program is absolutely going to develop character. 100% guarantee it. It's going to develop character because you've got to dig deeper mentally than a 21-day program. You've got to fight the doubts. You've got to fight it when you don't feel like the scale's moving. You've got to fight it when that birthday party comes up and you have some serious temptation with chocolate chip cookies or whatever the case may be. But 80 days is going to develop your character. That character growth that you have experienced, that you're experiencing on the inside, is going to inspire so many people, and it's going to develop business growth. Okay. So, all these people are talking about 80 Day Obsession. All these people are talking maybe about Shakeology. And so you're maybe thinking to yourself, I'm just sort of a drop in the hat. Like, why do I need to be talking about this too? Again, that person is only going to notice it when you do it, right? So that person that you don't notice maybe every day, they notice you and they're looking to you. They're in your audience. That person is similar to you. They don't maybe know yet what they need because they haven't watched you go through it. So that's why you have to share. That's why it's important that they hear it from you in your own way. When you grow yourself, your business grows. When you grow yourself, your business grows. Why am I talking about this when it's about social media? Because this is important. This is the foundation for sharing. A lot of people don't feel like they have a lot to share, and I'm speaking from personal experience. A lot of people feel like they don't have anything to share because they're not personally in grow mode. They're stagnant, or they're even feeling like they're replacing their healthy habits with maybe poor habits. There's no growing. There's no positive environment going on. So when you grow yourself, you grow your business. Again, when you are diving into your personal development commitment, you have content for days. When you are in personal development, and I know some of my girls feel me on this because we're doing this book club together, and it's like, finally, I feel this refreshed, outlook on not only my business, but on my life and on the way that I talk and on my confidence. It's personal development will give you content and confidence for days, right? So for your social media, for your private conversations, for your team pages, it's there. The content is there if you are in grow mode, right? So have that little self-evaluation right now. What's the last book you read or audio? When's the last time you took that seriously? If you truly want to grow your business, you've got to grow yourself. You're in a business of growing yourself. That's the hardest part about Beachbody. This is a business that is about growing yourself. There is no faking this stuff. You cannot fake results. We do not cut corners, right? And that's honestly why a lot of people do not last, because you can't fake healthy eating. You can't fake working out. You can't fake results unless you do a really terrible thing in Photoshop. That's the only way, right? So the results require us to show up and to do the work. It's a beautiful thing though, because that showing up is what is going to develop that person, that leader inside of you that then becomes ready for the success that is ready and willing and available to you, right? So it's a beautiful journey, but there is no faking this stuff. We do not cut corners. The inner transformation takes time. The inner transformation, it takes patience and it takes consistent work. The business piece of this and the fitness piece of this, they run side by side. You have to walk the walk, or you will not get traction because you will not be trusted. So again, if you're feeling like you're struggling when it comes to traction or having conversations with people, ask yourself, am I proving with my actions that this works, or that I'm happy with this, or that I'm loving these groups that I'm in, or my team? Like, is that obvious to people? Coolest part, you are the only one who can control all of this. It's up to you to follow through. You get to decide if you're going to show up. You get to decide if you're going to dive in. You get to decide when you show up. And honestly, when you do show up and you do it consistently, again, you're going to grow and you will develop character. And in turn, you will have a lot of content to share. It's not easy, but it's out there for you. I always tell my coaches, probably like, once a week at least on one-on-one calls, or even in my team pages, this business is here for you to take. This business does not play favorites. You are important. You are needed. The success is right in front of you, but you have got to do the work. You're probably spending too much energy on the size of your following, the amount of likes that you're getting, or the amount of comments that you're seeing. Like, raise your hand and be authentic and be vulnerable and tell me if that's ever come in your mind, like, okay, I'm hesitant to post this because it's probably not going to get a lot of likes, or I probably shouldn't post this picture because nobody cares. Let me know in the comments. Has that ever been a struggle of yours where you hesitate or you do not post what you think you might want to post because you worry about the likes, or you worry about the how it might measure up to maybe somebody else's post or maybe some of your other posts? Okay. So yeah. So unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with here. So you're probably spending way too much energy on that, on the size of your following, the amount of your likes, the amount of comments that you receive. Please do not worry about the audience. Treat this like a journal. Social media, treat it like a journal, because this is your truth. And you've got to be okay with living that truth. And I'm speaking to myself, you guys. So I know this is an ongoing journey for all of us, because different seasons of our life pop up different, confidence issues or different insecurities. But you've got to treat this like your journal. Don't worry about the following. Don't worry about being in front of an audience. Treat it like your journal. Treat it like a journal where you're going to share you no matter what, right? Evaluate what works and what doesn't work, of course, like identify the trends in social media, but don't allow a number of likes or a number of followers to decide whether or not you should share something. You become more likable when you are vulnerable and people get to know you. And I cannot tell you how many times in my social media, the posts that don't get a ton of likes, my fitness stuff never gets a ton of likes. It just doesn't. It's just how it is for me. But if I'm being true to myself, I'm being proof the product's working, I'm engaged in the 4 vital behaviors, those posts that get maybe like a quarter of the likes that maybe some of my other posts get, they will initiate a lot of conversations to my inbox. Okay. So remember, like, it doesn't always, and I know you know this, but just as a reminder for social media, you've got to be authentic to yourself, truly be you, treat this like a journal. And don't worry so much about the numbers. Don't worry about that instant gratification that comes with social media. When you are vulnerable, people get to know you. When they get to know you, they begin to trust you. When they begin to trust you, you are the one that they think of when they have a personal goal that they want to tackle. So talk about your short-term goals. Okay. So don't worry about the big stuff. All right. This is my disclaimer here. Like, please believe me on this. I've been a coach for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in about 10 days. I hit the Million Club in like 3 years. I've been top 10. I've been 15-star, all that stuff. And it's really awesome. And I am so proud of our team for making all that happen. And I would do it all over again tomorrow. It's amazing. But, and so like the debt payoff and the car or the dream house or whatever, all that's great. But I can promise you the big stuff, it just is not relatable. The big loan payoffs and all those really big things, they're really awesome. And I'm always super happy for people. But I can promise you the magic still happens in the part-time wins. What do I mean by that? I'm going to expand on this a ton this year because it's like just my jam. And it's something I learned a lot about recently, and even just personal reflection, like the part-time wins. That's where it's at. What do I mean by that? A part-time win. That's like talking about, obviously always using the legal income disclaimer, but talking about how your Beachbody is you developing your second stream of income or developing a passive stream of income. How your Beachbody paycheck, the income that you're earning as a Beachbody coach, pays for your groceries, pays for your date night, pays double. You always hear me that double on your student loan, because that's what I did. That's how I paid off my student loans, right? Doubled up on payments. The part-time wins, please do not tell yourself. I hear this so many times from coaches or in my inbox. Please do not be that coach that says, oh, I'm not going to share this personal thing that I'm proud of because it's not as good as that one coach. Please don't do that, because remember, there's somebody watching you that desperately needs that extra $100 a month, that desperately wants that community to feel a part of. And that's what they care about, even though you only have 5 coaches instead of 500 coaches. Please stop comparing yourself, because that's not how this business works. I can guarantee one of my success partners, Chelsea, she did a really awesome video on YouTube about when she paid off all of her student loans. And it was just a beautiful video. She only got like a handful of coach leads from that video, even though it was amazing, because it's not relatable. And she'll tell you this isn't me hating on her. I love her to death. This is something that we've talked about. That video mostly encouraged the coaching population, which is good. That's fine. But that's not your goal, right? Your goal is not to just pet a bunch of other coaches. Your goal is to inspire people to join your team, right? So think about where they're at. Think about what they need help with. Think about your person. What do they need help? For me, it's groceries, it's date night, it's vacation, it's savings, and it's doubling up on student loan. That's what I always talk about. Sometimes it's even things like replacing the curtains in the new nursery, or replacing the carpet in the new house that they bought. Those types of things. So that's what my person wants, right? Of course they want to buy their dream home. Of course they want to pay cash for their dream vehicle. But that's not what most of us, before we became coaches, that's not where we're tuned in to think about, right? So share the part-time wins. Please do not second guess what you share because of it's not as good as somebody else, right? So I'm going to move on to my slides here, and then I'm going to close out with a couple other things from my notes. But I want you to have all this preface, because social media isn't just about posting one thing. Social media is about you sharing your journey. And if you are always just trying to do the right thing or post what you're supposed to post, it's never going to be authentic, okay? So like I said, connect. Use what you share to connect with people. Remember that. Remember that, because sometimes you're going to have those blah days and you're just going to post something. I totally get that, right? But on the days that you're feeling the vibe or that you're really focused on what you're sharing, remember that, like, is what you're sharing really going to connect with somebody? Ask yourself that, because that is the goal. That's where the connection begins. And again, like sharing value, you guys have heard that from your teammates or from your team family multiple times. If you're a brand new coach, remember, as a coach using social media, a really big piece of building relationships and connecting with people is being someone that adds value. So you've heard that, right? But what about this? Have you heard, okay, you've heard add value, add value, add value. But have you ever been asked, does what you're posting add value to a stranger? So that it's one thing to add value to like your person, to like your friend or your fellow coach or whatever. But what about to the stranger? I think that's a different question personally. It forces you to think about the person that you're trying to reach instead of the person that you're already interacting with, okay? Because you can have a fan club of coaches or of challengers who would love anything that you posted, right? But that's not or find anything that you posted super valuable. But that's not really the point when it comes to expansion and reaching new people. You've got to ask yourself, does what you're sharing, what you're posting, add value to a stranger? Yes or no? Probably most of us would say no. And I would say that to myself too, because we've got to get in that mode. Like, is this going to help a stranger? How am I helping a stranger? How am I helping a brand new follower tonight? Ask yourself that. Okay, so here's the first question about social media and content. What do you say, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to, I'm boring. Whatever, right? I hear that all the time. I have felt that personally, so I totally get it. What do you say? Help people get to know you by sharing more and storytelling. I know this is uncomfortable. I know this takes time, but this is so important. Remember, we've talked about in the beginning, we talked about connecting with people. We talked about making sure what you share, what you post is going to help someone connect better with you, help someone get to know you better. So ask yourself, like, when was the last time that you shared a little bit more about yourself outside of like, hey, I'm doing my workout. I love my family. I love my kids. Here's my cute dog. I love my shirt. That's all really good. That's all really good. I love my superfoods. I love my power greens. I love my whatever. All that's really good. But when's the last time they heard about the struggle that you've overcome? When's the last time they heard about your experience being bullied? When's the last time they talked about your struggle being a co-worker, in a work situation or, all those things, or how you felt with your body image? Storytelling, sharing more. I know it's harder. It's harder than the quick little outfit of the day post. It's harder than sharing your cute kids. It is harder, but that's what helps people get to know you. That's what develops that connective tissue. So if you're asking yourself, okay, what do I say? This is what you say. Help people get to know you by sharing more and storytelling. For me, in the beginning, it was really uncomfortable, but I felt like I needed to talk about losing my dad. I felt like I needed to talk about growing up in a household that with two alcoholics. My mom had brain aneurysms. I really, really struggled with people pleasing and with body image and with being a quitter. None of those things are like, awesome, I can't wait to talk about these things, right? And it doesn't have to be heavy, but that was my story, right? So it's like, you've got to be willing to share more of you. And maybe that's not your story. Maybe there aren't negative things. Maybe they're good things or they're personal challenges. I guarantee if you dig a little bit deeper, you'll find something that you have overcome and something that you've learned through or you've grown through. That's what you got to be sharing. Okay, next thing, as this question comes up, what do I say? This is such an easy one. And a lot of you do this really, really well. But what you need to do is answer questions in your posts. What do they need to know? Who's they? That's your ideal customer. If you haven't done the ideal customer avatar, you are slow. You are slow to maximize on your target marketing. Unless you're a brand new coach and you're not slow, you're right on time. You need to do it. Okay. Ideal customer avatar. Just look it up in the coach family. There's tons of resources. It's from Marie Forleo. You're essentially brainstorming who the person is that you're trying to talk to. Who is the person that you want to reach? For me, it used to be a lot of young professionals, young families. Now it's young moms, young professionals, young families. It's kind of, those are my people, right? Those are the people I can instantly get along with. And then I define them even more. So I have a very specific kind of person that I'm looking for. And so that helps me deliver my content, choose my wording, choose my graphics, choose the titles of the things that I share, the energy at which I bring my posts. It all matters. So ask yourself who you're talking to first, who you're trying to help, who you're trying to reach, and then answer their questions publicly in a post. Answer the questions that they don't even know that they have yet, right? But what do they need to know? So for me, an example of this was my ideal customer was brand new to the workforce. It's actually kind of like Shay used to be. It's kind of funny how attraction marketing works, but in terms of being a young professional. But one of the questions a lot of my people had was about the auto ship of Shakeology. It was something that they were really worried about. And they were worried that they would overdraft. And like, this is how specific I got. They were worried that their bank account would overdraft because of an auto charge for Shakeology. So what did I do? I addressed that all the time. I addressed it all the time. So I talked about auto ship. I talked about how I was so glad that I had auto ship because that way I didn't forget to order it. I talked about how it wasn't more money in the budget. It was just money moved around in the budget. I addressed it all the time until it became so familiar that when I had a conversation with somebody privately, they had already been reading the conversations that I'd been having publicly on my posts. So that's just an example. It doesn't necessarily have to be about exercise or Shakeology. It can be about maybe self-worth, or it can be about personal development, or it can be about anything really, but answer questions in your posts. So you have to ask yourself first, who is your ideal person, and what are the kinds of questions that they have in their life right now? What are the kinds of things that they're needing help with? What do they need to know? What do they need to know about? Some of the people I follow on Instagram stories, a lot of like fashion bloggers, that's a very specific example, but that's what they're doing. They're asking themselves, okay, what is my follower asking? And what are they asking? Okay, Amber, fill her up. What was your favorite sneaker last year? What was your favorite pea coat that you found last year? What was your favorite shade of lipstick? You know, those are all obviously very specific to fitness or to fashion and beauty, but that's the same concept. What are your followers asking? What do they want to know about? Brainstorm that, and that's how you gear your post, okay? And then again, publicly addressing private objections or common obstacles, okay? So publicly address. This is a really easy one. By now, we all know the common objections, right? And if you don't, you will learn them. A new coach is not set apart in only being the only one that gets these objections. I promise you, we all get those objections. If you were on the call with us with Isabel Deichler, you heard me say, I hardly ever get a price objection with Shakeology anymore. But in the beginning, the first 2 years, all the time. And so I had to train my audience. I had to train myself to really believe in this product and to talk about it with confidence. And as I did that year after year, people watched my example, watched it change my body, watched it change my health. And then it is no longer a big deal. If it is an occasional thing, I have absolutely no problem refuting it or just sort of sharing my perspective on it. It just isn't a thing anymore. But in the beginning it was. And so I talked about it all the time. Publicly address these objections or these common obstacles, because if they're not asking you in private message, they might be thinking it. And if they're thinking it, that might be the thing that's kind of holding them back from moving forward with you. So these are some, I guess, prompts when you're asking yourself, okay, what do I say when I'm posting on social media? You help people get to know you by sharing more in storytelling. You answer questions in your post. What do they need to know? And then you publicly address private objections or common obstacles. Okay. So next, next. I need my notes really quick. So we talked about what to say. Now we're going to talk about when to say it. And you guys, this is the most important piece because Facebook is Facebook. Instagram is Instagram. Social media is fast-paced. And you'll see in this first blurb, no post means no voice. If you go dormant, if you go silent, you just aren't relevant anymore, unfortunately, right? That's how social media is. You might be the best darn coach in the whole world, but if you're never showing up on social media, people don't know about you. People don't know about what you're doing. People can't relate to you. People can't reach out to you. They don't trust that you're going to show up for them if you don't show up for you, okay? So consistency matters. I can't say this enough. I cannot say this enough. Consistency matters. Your credibility will be built on how often you show up. Look, you do not have to be on social media all the live long day, but you have got to be consistent. So that might be a couple times a day for you on Instagram. Maybe on Instagram stories, you share 5 to 20 times a day. Maybe on Facebook, you share 2 to 3 times. I don't know. It's going to be your thing, right? You got to decide that. I personally think on Facebook, you need to post a few more times, right? Instagram, you can get away with a few quality posts a week. And on Instagram stories, you can just blow that thing up, right? But Facebook, you've got to be consistent because of the algorithm. At least that's how it is right now. So if you're not posting 3 to 5 times a day on social media and specifically on Facebook, you gotta up your game because people need to see you. So again, in the online world, no post means no voice. So consistency matters. You guys, I hope, have heard the analogy from the compound effect about the pumping the well. It's my very favorite thing. And I've listened to him on audio talk about this, and it's even better than reading it. But if you're new, I'm going to tell you all about this analogy. If you're old, just close your eyes and pretend like you've never heard it before. So imagine a well, a pump well, an old school well, maybe out in the country. I always imagine really green fields. I always imagine cows and blue skies and a weird wood fence. There's a well that you have to pump, and it's rusty and it's red. That's what I always imagine. I don't know why. That's just what I do. So when you are trying to get water out of this well, you have to pump really hard. Okay, you've got to pump really hard. It's rusty. It's kind of rickety. You got to get the alignment right with the little lever, and you're sweating, right? You're sweating, and so you're just pumping. It's making this weird sound. You're pumping. Your biceps starting to hurt. You're pumping with both hands now because you're tired, and there's no water coming out. And so there's this group of people. It gives me sort of this weird feeling because there's this group of people when they're pumping that well and they're working so hard to try to get some water to come out and it's not coming out, they quit because they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm working so hard. I'm sweating. My hair is frizzy and I am not getting any water out. I'm working so hard. Why am I not getting any result from this work that I'm putting in? And then there's a second group of people that continue to pump. They're sweating. They're so tired. They're feeling weird and their back's starting to hurt because they're bent over and they're pumping this well. And now a couple drops start to trickle out of the well, of the rusty red well, right? The pump. A couple drops from all that work. You've probably burnt at least 500 calories from all that pumping. And my gosh, that is all of the reward that you get for all that work. And so those people, they're like, forget it, man. This is not worth it. It's not working for me. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that in one way or another. It's not working for me. And so they quit. Then there's that last group of people. That last group of people is like, no, I saw this well work for somebody else last week. I saw them fill up their bucket. I know it works. I know there's water underneath there. I know that that resistance that I'm feeling, it's for a reason. It's getting maybe not that much easier, but it is getting a little bit easier. So I'm going to keep pumping. There's a little bit of water coming out. That's a great sign to me. That tells me I'm on the right track. Even though I'm working hard, I'm on the right track. So they continue to pump the well. They pump the well. They pump the well. They keep going. And before they know it, they're barely pumping the well and the water is just spewing out. It is spewing out. And so now to maintain that full flood of water rushing out of the spigot, all they have to do is pump the well every probably, 3 to 5 seconds, right? And then even less than that. And it just flows and flows and flows and flows. That is consistency, you guys. That's consistency in this business. You can do a million analogies, right? But it's hard work. It is. It's hard work in the beginning. That consistency is what develops your credibility. If you want another analogy, think about a train. Think about a train going up a hill, right? It is heavy. It's going incredibly slow. It takes an enormous amount of energy to get this giant machine on these tracks up that hill. But then as soon as they reach the peak and they start to go down, that thing cannot be stopped. That thing would take a ton of resistance to slow it down. You can put whatever you want in front of it. It's like that whole, I think the analogy is like a penny will stop that train from going forward. Once it's just getting started, a penny will stop it. But on its way down, man, it would plow through buildings. It would plow through cars, right? Same thing as a bike. Think about riding a bike. We've all ridden a bike up at like the overpass and it's like the worst thing ever. You're like, why am I on this bike? It's so hard, right? And then you go down and it's just the best. You cannot stop it. The momentum has been built. That is consistency. That is posting on social media. That is consistency. Okay. It matters. Okay. So don't fool yourself in thinking, okay, no, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter, especially for newer coaches, meaning your first few years in the business. Your consistency matters because it's developing your brand. It's showing people that you are going to show up for them. Frequency matters too. This was going to vary depending on the platform. So you'll need to commit to a daily frequency and stick to it. Again, it's going to be different for Instagram versus Facebook. So talk to your success partners, research some blogs, do whatever you want to do, but just know that it's going to vary depending on the platform. But think of your social media pages as window shopping opportunities. The frequency matters. Again, it goes hand in hand with consistency. If you do not show up consistently, if you are not frequently hosting challenge groups or talking about your transformations or sharing your personal goals, you're going to be sort of someone that is not thought of in the health and wellness world. Your name is not going to come to their mind because you're not on their mind enough. Okay. Timing matters too. Every audience is different, but use the insight. Timing meaning like what time that you post. So you can use the insights in a lot of different platforms. I was going to pull mine up really quick. So like on Instagram, whoop, 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 you can use the insights, those little bars right there, and you can figure out what times are best for your audience or what kind of interaction you get on your page on certain days or certain times. There are tools that you can use. So use insights and then also just take note, specifically on Facebook or maybe you blog or whatever. Take note of what post at what time, what day of the week, what time of the day does better, and find out when your niche market is online. Be your own CEO. Okay, and then like the last question that you might be asking yourself when you're just starting, in this social media realm, it's like, how do you build an audience though, right? So how do you build a following? Well, first of all, it's these 3 things that I already told you about: consistency, frequency, and paying attention to the time that people are online. But on top of that, just like you might suspect, it takes time. More than that, it takes consistency over time. When you treat your business seriously and see how powerful social media can be for growth, you begin to pay attention to what your target audience responds well to. Again, you have to treat this like a business now, right? It's not just, I'm going to post pictures of my kids and hope it blows the internet up. That's not good enough, right? So you've got to be strategic. And I'm not saying you have to be an internet master, but you need to pay attention and you have to be consistent and you have to make mistakes and then make some adjustments. Don't be afraid to make mistakes because that's how all of us learn. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time on social media. I mean, daily, right? So don't worry about that. Just keep going. But again, you begin to see, once you see the power, my business is 100% built on social media in such a way where even if I meet somebody in person, I'm going to connect with them on social media. I find new people, find me. I find new people on social media all the time. The power of social media for growth is massive. So once you really realize that and you start to see that, you do begin to pay attention to what your target audience responds well to. You have to pay attention, make small adjustments, and constantly ask yourself questions. Here are some of the questions that I ask myself all the time. And you guys, I'm telling you, you guys have probably witnessed me fail multiple times, especially this past year as a newer mom, just trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. But these are a few questions that I'm asking myself all about posting on social media. It's like, okay, is it easy for someone new to contact me? That's what you got to ask yourself. Are your privacy settings so strict that a new person could not even find your profile, or a new person has no idea how to reach you? If that's the case, guess what? They're going to find another coach. They just are. Even though they'd prefer to go with you, if it's too hard, they're going to find another coach. So is it easy for someone new to contact me? A lot of things that I have set up for that. I talk about my email all the time because I work in email, not in Facebook Messenger. I have the Linktree link in my bio for Instagram. My profile is 100% public for Facebook. And on my blog, I have a little pop-up that allows them a free VCTA. I think there's a billion you could use, but that's what I use. And it's just allows someone, when they hop onto my blog, maybe they read my infertility blog, or they found me because of something else on Pinterest. They see that pop up, and then they can put their information in, and then they can get my email. How easy is it for someone new to contact you? Is it clear what I'm doing and what I'm committed to? Don't assume everybody knows what you're doing. Sure, it feels maybe like there's a million Beachbody coaches in your circle of life, but there's not. I always tell people this. If you're feeling like there's a lot of coaches around or whatever, go to the airport or go to Disney World and see how many people need your help. So you got to just lift your head up off of your computer and look at the real world and think, okay, there are a lot of people who do not have the help of a coach, who do not feel connected to a coach that I could help. So is it clear what you're doing and what you're committed to? I mean that in the fitness realm, and I mean that for the business piece. Do people know that they can join you in your challenge groups? Do people know that they're virtual, they're not local? Do people know, or they're not necessarily local, do people know that you're growing a team and that people are succeeding, on your team and building amazing passive incomes, residual income and additional streams of income? Do people know that? Number 3, the question I ask myself, am I giving people an opportunity to get to know me better? We already sort of talked about that, but I have to revisit that all the time. It's like, okay, I can't just assume people know me because we have, on social media, you develop these friendships. You follow one another for years. But remember, new people find you all the time. So you have to retell that story. Am I giving people an opportunity to get to know me better so that they can connect? Number 4, how often am I adding value to a stranger? Am I adding value to just the people I'm already friends with? Or am I adding value to my ideal customer, my customer avatar, who right now is a stranger? Another question I always ask myself, would a like-minded person connect easily with me based on what I've been sharing? Am I just willy-nilly sharing whatever comes to mind without any thought, or am I being thoughtful about the content that I'm creating and putting out there in order to attract the kind of person that I want to work with? You got to ask yourself that, right? And I know we live busy lives. I know our schedules are more than packed. And so you may not have the brain space to do this every single day, but what about once a week? What about twice a month for the whole month? You can do it. You can figure out a way to really develop thoughtful content that's going to attract the kind of person that you want. And then number 6, I kind of already alluded to this. Do they know that they can join me? Do they know that this is I can't tell you how many times I get messages of like, oh, you're probably not accepting this, that, or the other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what a fail on my part, right? Like I'm not accepting any challengers, or I'm not accepting any coaches, or they can't do my challenge group because they don't live in my area. People assume all kinds of things. So you have to be crystal clear to let people know that they can join you. So those are the questions I ask myself. There are many more, but those are the ones that I ask myself all the time about my social media. So maybe take a screenshot of this. Maybe ask yourself these things based on the content that you've been posting even just this week, or maybe use it as a guide for a future post this coming week. Okay. Another thing that I really want to talk to you about here is you cannot assume that people are just going to spill onto your page and start following you. You cannot. No matter how big you get in the Beachbody world, you find them. It is your job. It is my job to find my people. And yes, when you do a very good job of putting yourself out there, sharing your story, making it easy for people to contact you, letting people know that they can join you, yes, you will have people start to find you and reach out to you. That absolutely will happen eventually, but you cannot solely rely on that. You have got to be intentional about the person that you want to work with, both challenger and coach, okay? So do not wait for or expect people to just come to you. Be diligent in finding your kind of person. Genuinely connect with them. Interact on their pages. Be more interested in them than interesting to them. You hear me? Don't worry about being the most interesting person to them or the most amazing person on the Instagram feed. Be more interested in that, genuinely interested in them, and they will find value in that. It is your job to find, follow, and friend. Find, follow, friend. Find, follow, friend. New people every single week. You can do that by searching hashtags. You can do that by being a part of groups, both local and online. You can do that by asking for referrals. A great girl that's going to join me in 80-Day Obsession. Her name's Aubrey. She's so super excited and jazzed about 80-Day Obsession. She's telling all of her friends to do it with her. I didn't even prompt her. I should have, but I didn't. But that is a real thing. So be excited, be a good coach, be there for your customers, and I bet you they will refer their friends when they have a good experience. And then, of course, face-to-face. You can find people face-to-face. You can do it, whether it be a story time or another kids event or some other work event, or maybe it's just a hobby that you are really into, whatever. Find people face-to-face, grocery store, gas station, a million things, right? Dry cleaners, whatever. You find them. Don't assume people are just going to find you, because it won't happen that way. And you will be putting your business growth to chance. You'll be putting your growth of your business in the hands of somebody else. You take care of that. You're the CEO. You're the entrepreneur. You're the person with the goal. So you find your people. Okay. The other thing that's so important in terms of how to build an audience and what you share, this is so important. And I hope that you've got a new level of boldness in your life with the new year, because you need it. I really want to encourage you to develop that confidence that I think every successful coach has to do, because by reaching your goals, you show them that they can reach theirs too. Their goals might be totally different than yours. They might have no interest in what you're doing, but or they maybe have no interest in buying the kind of home that you want to buy, or funding the kind of fund that you want to fund, whatever the level of success is. But by you reaching your goals and sharing that, you have then inspired them to reach their own goals, their own version of success or fulfillment or impact or influence or love or whatever, happiness. It is important to share so that you can inspire the just like yous. It's so important. It's important. Okay. I hope you heard me. It's important to share so that you can inspire the people who are just like you. It's also important to share when you don't reach a goal. I hope you know that. You are not going to be the only person that they've ever met that failed. Trust me. It's uncomfortable to talk about failures, and maybe you don't lay it all out there, but you still have to talk about it. When you fall short, whether it be a business goal or a fitness goal, you've got to talk about it, because that also inspires the person who's just like you, who maybe is not perfect, or maybe who doesn't touch everything and it turns to gold. The humanity is there, and they can relate to that. So don't be afraid to share the not so great wins, or the troubling times, or the challenging times. Don't be afraid. Don't be a negative Nancy. Always have a positive spin, or always have a positive outlook on it. But absolutely share both ends of the spectrum. The wins, the goals that you reached, and the goals that you maybe did not reach. Okay. So I'm going to get into a couple very specific things right now, and then we're going to wrap this up. But I want to give you guys some really specific tools, specifically new coaches, for just how to jog your brain, how to get people connecting with you, interacting, whether it be on your page, definitely on your page. I want you to use this stuff on your pages, social medias, blogs, that kind of stuff. And I also want you to consider using some of this stuff in your challenge groups. Okay. So feel free to screenshot this, but I'm probably going to upload the slides too, but I would screenshot it first, okay? Just so you have it right away. So use prompts for inspiration, right? So some of you are like, oh, I don't know what to post, or my life is so boring. Totally hear you on that. I've told you that a million times now, but that's not an excuse. You still got to build a business. You're still your owner, right? So use prompts for inspo. Stop overthinking it. Stop caring so much about the likes. Ask yourself if you are adding value, and then go for it. Remember, when you are authentically on your own health and wellness journey, it is so much easier to share, because you are not faking it. Trust me. Just trust me on that. Swallow the pill, eat the frog, be on your own journey, and commit. 80-day obsession has the potential to absolutely change your business, because you will be on point with your fitness and your transformation. Here are some prompts for inspiration. Prompts. Program that you're committing to and why. So this is like a month layout. This is from my friend Chelsea as well. So this is something that we do a lot with our coaches. So program that you are committing to and why. Build that out into a post. That's day one of the month, right? Number two, something that you wore today. That's as simple as it can be. That can be the inspiration for your post. Maybe it turns into something like totally different. That's fine. But just allow this to jog your memory. 3, your morning ritual. What is your morning ritual like? And maybe it's just chaos like mine some days, or maybe you're starting to get up earlier, whatever. Maybe you have a very peaceful morning. Maybe you have a great commute to work, and you have a ritual in the car, whatever. Allow this to jog your memory and sort of build it out. So you can read all of them. What inspires you to stay committed, share about the younger you, your favorite workout outfit. And then you see on day 7, it's your 1 week result. So it's that transparency, right? It's that public transparency, because that says to your following, hey, I'm still here. I'm still showing up. It might not be perfect, but I'm still showing up and I'm still doing this. And I care about this. I care about this journey that I'm on. It makes you way more credible. So day 7 is your 1 week results. And then we've got maybe your summer, your winter, or your fall bucket list, what you love about this time of year, word to define your day, nostalgia, view from your desk or your work or your day, favorite meal you've been eating, 2 week results on day 14. What is your why motivation? What is your dream vacation? How do you feel when you're active? Name 3 people who inspire you. What's in your bag? How do you overcome excuses? And then your 3 week results. Recommend a book or a story or a blog or a podcast. Old summer photo and a story. Why do you coach? Home workout review. Favorite healthy foods in the whatever season that you're in. Top 5 places you'd like to travel to. Ask for some people's advice or where do they want to travel. Create that engagement. 4 week results. What changed in the last month? There's this reflection. And then celebrate your hard work and recharge. Let them know that you're not just a social media robot. You're not always on your on your computer, right? So this is just an example. If you're feeling uninspired, if you're feeling like, I don't know what to post, this is what you do. You use prompts for inspiration. Okay. Another thing that I used to do this all the time with my new coaches, and I might bring it back, but create calendars with prompts for your team. This is so super easy. You just grab a blank calendar from Google. Just Google. This is from last year, so don't use this because the days are February 1st is not a Friday. But you just Google blank February 2018 calendar and you'll have it and put it in Canva or PicMonkey or wherever and just do some prompts, share family fun. Like I do that on Fridays because I teach my coaches not to be crazy about business on Fridays because so many people are focused on the family, date night, that sort of thing. And so keep it light, show the family side of you or show the fun side of you or whatever. But there's other things in there like post a video inviting to a sneak peek or a webinar. How did home workouts make you happy? Share a misconception about coaching. Talk about a Shakeology recipe that you love. Share a recent non-scale victory. What about your future excites you? All these prompts are really easy to use. It's easy to do and it's easy to use when you're feeling uninspired. Okay, so more questions to ask yourself. And this can inspire posts. This can inspire a lot of getting to know you type posts. So what am I struggling with? What inspired me today? How have I grown since yesterday? What is my biggest excuse? What is my plan to conquer it? What does success look like for me? How did the old me think? You do have to be careful about talking so much about the old you because if it's not a person that you want to work with anymore, you need to evaluate that because if all you're talking about is the old you, you may be attracting the old you, right? So just be careful with that and be aware of that. What am I hopeful about? What was my light bulb moment? How did I win today? Right? So these can turn into whatever you want them to be, but these might help you jog your memory. And this is going to help you develop so much trust because it's not just a one-time quick little, oh, I found a graphic, I'm going to, put it in there, right? So that's a really easy way to start sharing more storytelling, super, super easy. Okay, so let me share one other thing with you guys before I move on to the close. When it comes to like copyright or the wording that you use or how you catch people's attention, there are so many resources on Pinterest. I hope you guys are using that. So many blog resources on Pinterest. Let me share this really quick, and you might not be able to read it, but that's okay because I'm going to share it in our pages, right? But these are some examples of what I would look for if I'm feeling uninspired or I feel like the way that I'm writing is not really catching the attention like I want it to. So you might use things like blog titles, right? And so you might not be writing a blog, but this could be the headline to your post, right? So you might say, let me see, I have some examples written out here. Sorry, looking for my document. Okay, so in terms of caption, how to write a caption that's going to really sort of grab people's attention. Short and sweet one-liners are really, 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 really awesome. So look up on Pinterest, look them up on Tumblr. It could be a slogan from a t-shirt that you saw. Those like little things like diamonds were a girl's best friend until I found yoga pants. Things like that. This right here, coffee straight up, things like that. Like simple jabs, simple little one-liners are really fun for like a really great eye-catching photo, right? Another thing that you could do is focus on negative wording, which I know might sound wrong, but negative wording something like, I never thought I would feel comfortable in my own skin. When it's negative like that, our instinct is to read it and to make sure that person's okay. Negative wording catches our attention. So think of it, like, I never thought I would be this, that, or the other. I never knew I could do this, that, or the other. That negative wording is going to make them stop and make sure that you're okay and read it and relate to it. Okay. Another thing you can do is talk in numbers. So for example, my 2 favorite podcasts for staying motivated are blank, 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 blank. My 3 best tips for healthy eating with picky toddlers, blank, 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 blank. And whenever you're using this type of style or this type of strategy, when you have a headline like that that's supposed to grab the attention, put some line breaks in there. Separate the next part of the post with like a little space or some lines or something so that their eyes go right to that headline, and then the rest of the post is in the body. It will break up the text, and it will be much easier on the eyes. It will catch people's attention. Another example is how to stay focused in 5 steps, how to get up earlier with these 3 easy hacks. Numbers are really good because people are like, oh, that's catchy. I want to do that. Some of these also say, 3 questions you should ask before doing X, Y, or starting a home workout program, or 4 secrets to making your kids eat salad. I don't know, whatever. Numbers are really good thing. Okay. Let me see, what else do I have here that I wanted to highlight? Well, there we go. Okay. Okay. So again, blog templates that you can sort of adapt for posts, whether it be a blog post or a Facebook post, or more like one-liner, shorter stuff for Instagram would be really helpful too. Something that another thing that I wanted to show you guys is using emotional wording. So using emotional power words, they will be invested in what you have to say. So something like I was destroying my body before I uncovered this secret. Line break, and then you introduce whatever it is that you want to talk about. It catches their attention because they're like, oh, that's a strong word. What is she talking about? Or, whatever. So here's some examples of emotional headlines. So you just get descriptive. It's just more descriptive. It's just more something that people can picture. It makes them feel something, right? And then another thing is like asking a question. You might ask something like, have you ever felt like you had no control over your life? Line break, and then you go into more of the post, right? Or have you ever felt incredibly disappointed that you have not lived up to your potential? I know I've used that before because that's how I felt before I became a coach. Even as a nurse, I felt that way. And so utilizing those powerful descriptive words, not to be overly dramatic, but to sincerely describe something that you want to talk about in a really catchy way. It's going to grab their attention. Now, photos are a whole nother thing, but just remember, if the graphic is not catching their attention, the words will not matter. Okay. So the picture, the graphic, it cannot be dark and dingy. It cannot be fuzzy and blurry. It needs to be bright, clear, and you can learn all about that on social media and even just by following other coaches within our team. It's important that you learn to develop an eye for eye-catching photos, okay? And it's probably more simple than you think. Having a clear background or having an organized background is a really easy way to do it. Quality, pictures on your phone, that's another really easy way to do it. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys was this phone toolbox. So I've built my business on my mobile device for a long time, whether it be travel or now as a mom with a baby or whatever. So I use my phone a lot. And so there are a lot of different tools that you can use. These are just some of mine. And as you use your phone more, as you commit to a mobile business, you're going to learn different things that work best for you. So this is just to get you started. Okay. InShot is awesome. It's something that we learned about at our Inbound conference that I took a lot of our leaders to. That's something that the best of the best in this type of career, this type of network are using, and it's easy and it's fun. Okay, so it's video. You have to play around with it. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with other phones other than iPhone, so I'm not sure about that. But check it out. InShot is awesome for video. for a lot of other things too, but for video is what I use it for. Planoly, that's supposed to say preview. That first one with all the colorful blocks, that's preview. And the P, the other large P, it's kind of weird, is Planoly. These are ways to plan out your Instagram feed. So I think Ashley Rockington just posted recently in the Dynasty United Gather group about this, but this is a really great tool to see how your Instagram feed's going to look. It's something that a lot of professional Instagrammers use, and it's a really great planning tool. Google Drive is a must. You'll see as you develop a team, as you store resources, you need Google Drive. I have it on my phone. I use it all the time. PickTapGo for me is like the only app that I use for filters. Occasionally I will use something like VSCO, but very rarely. I almost always exclusively use PickTapGo. A lot of you guys have asked recently about pictures. My husband will take a picture with a really nice camera. I will still edit it in PickTapGo because I like the filters and because the filters help me develop my brand in color. Okay. Pinterest, enough said. It's for finding inspiration. It's for finding those quick quotes that I talked to you guys about earlier. It's about finding maybe recipes for challenge groups or free groups. Pinterest is a huge resource and it's totally free. Obviously, if you're using something on Pinterest, give credit if credit is due. But if it's a phrase or like a public recipe, then do your thing. Facetune, I use Facetune a lot, whether it be because I want to smooth out something on my face out of vanity, or if I want to blur out a background, I use Facetune a lot. So that's a really easy, super easy app. HypeType is something I've been using a lot lately. HypeType is for Instagram stories. It's how I do, let me see if I can show you really quick. It's how I do like the video. Let me see. Showed you guys already. So this is HypeType. So that's in Instagram stories. It's super easy. That's not HypeType. And then this is HypeType. Okay, so super fun, super easy thing that you can do with an app on your phone, whether you're working in the cracks of your day or while you're waiting in line at the DMV. WordSwag, there's a lot of other font apps. I just happen to use WordSwag a lot. There's a lot of other ones. And then BuzzFeed, I put that on there just because sometimes you might not feel like you know what's going on in the world or you want to talk about something relevant. BuzzFeed is a really easy way to do that. Go on BuzzFeed. They'll talk about whatever's relevant, but they also might talk about, they might give you ideas like, 10 easy ways to do this or that, like kind of what we talked about before with titling. They might give you really great topics to talk about with your challenge groups or an article to write on your blog in your own way to put your own spin on it. 10 best recipes for busy families, 15 best songs for a workout mix, whatever. So use BuzzFeed as a resource, super easy. I could go on all night about social media tips, but what you really need to know is that it's not one size fits all. It is fluid. It's going to change, right? There is a lot of grace when it comes to social media because nobody has it all figured out. Nobody does. And so you've got to know that you are important. Your voice is so important and it is needed if you're going to connect with new people. If you're going to connect people with the products that we have, you've got to learn how to have a presence on social media. At the end of the day, no matter how great you are, it can take time. And you have to sometimes adjust your strategy based on what's working, okay? So you have to keep your eyes open, follow people for inspiration, but always do your own thing. Always develop your own brand because if you always are just doing what other people do, you're always going to be a second version of them. Be your own person because that's the person that's going to relate to the most people. I hope this helps. We all make so many mistakes when it comes to social media, but just remember that the purpose of you posting is to connect with somebody. The purpose of posting is to inspire people with the normalcy of you, but you as a normal person are choosing to do something abnormal in terms of getting control of your health and fitness or getting control of your personal growth or reaching new goals in your financial world, whatever the case may be, leading a team, like becoming a leader. That is what's so super inspiring to people. And that's got to be shared. Okay. I hope that you're inspired to share your journey on social media, no matter what the likes or the comments look like. I hope that you are really inspired to just connect with people and to develop that connective tissue so that people genuinely know that you care about them, that you want to help them them when whatever season of life that they're in. It's not going to be easy, but the coolest part is that it's up to you. With consistency, frequency, and playing with your timing, you will develop a following that is loyal to you if you are true to yourself. I love you dearly. I hope that you guys have had a great week. I hope that you guys are really setting yourselves up for a really great year. This is the first quarter of a brand new year, meaning everybody has a clean slate. Everybody has a potential to just blow it out of the water in whatever way that you want. I know I have big goals for myself this year, and I hope that's you too. I cannot wait to collaborate more in our Dynasty United Gather group. I cannot wait to officially congratulate all the elite and premier coaches of Dynasty United, and I cannot wait to see more coaches reach for big goals, develop amazing teams, become leaders. My goal is to have Dynasty United make a big comeback in terms of impact and influence, and that there's a huge rise in leadership within our team. Love you guys dearly. Thanks for hopping on. I know I ran late, but I didn't want to cut it short. I hope this helped. I really hope this inspires new coaches just to get into action, get into motion like we talked about, by really committing to the 4 vital behaviors, because that's what creates motion, and that motion is what's going to create content. I love you guys. Have a good night.